everyone, and welcome to Extreme Improv Mission Control. I'm David Pustansky, and this is our Extreme Improv 2020 preview episode. 2020 is going to be the most exciting year for Extreme Improv yet. We've got all kinds of announcements of new shows and new ideas because Extreme Improv is expanding, and some of it is going to surprise you, so expect the unexpected. But before we get into all of that, and especially if you are brand new to the world of Extreme Improv, let's take a little look back at everything you missed in 2019. But now let's get into what's coming up in 2020. We're going to start with a great big announcement. 2020 is a year of anniversaries for Extreme Improv, and the number 2020 itself is very important. You see, August 20th, 2020 will mark the 3-year anniversary of the first live show under the Extreme Improv name. And September 20th, 2020 will actually be the 10-year anniversary of our first ever improv show back in the days when we were known as the Improv Theatre Company. So to celebrate this double anniversary between August 20th, 2020 and September 20th, 2020, we're going to celebrate our anniversaries with a month of shows, activities and events. What will the month of activities include? Lots and lots of cool things, most of which we're going to announce in the coming months, but will include workshops and live shows, including a rare return to our roots with a brand new show from the Improv Theatre Company, our old name. But the very big news here is that we will also hold the first ever Extreme Improv UK Championship, where a team will be the first ever to win the Extreme Improv UK Championship Trophy Cup. There's going to be lots of ways for people out there to get involved, so make sure you keep an eye on the Extreme Improv social media pages, YouTube channel and website for info when it drops. Next up, more live shows. We're continuing our monthly London shows at the Camden Comedy Club. Check out the dates for the first part of the year, which will be on screen somewhere right now. We're also going to go back to the Aylesbury Waterside Theatre with more shows there than ever before. Extreme Improv will also be coming to the Old Town Hall in Hemel Hempstead in March and May. And we'll also be returning to the Brighton Fringe with shows on these dates. And as well as the Brighton Fringe, expect to see several more fringe festivals where Extreme Improv will be performing. This will include the Camden Fringe, the Buxton Fringe, the Greater Manchester Fringe and the Edinburgh Fringe Festival for the very first time. Exact dates for all of these will be announced soon, and this list is only going to get bigger as we confirm more dates and festivals. But that's not all. We have a bunch more dates on the boil, so expect new announcements soon when we'll be able to confirm our 2020 dates in more locations. Tickets for all of our shows will soon go on sale, and you can find all of the ticket links and information at our website www.extremeimprov.co.uk. Now let's move on to some news of the ways that Extreme Improv is going to be expanding in 2020. This will include several new types of shows, new video series, podcasts and other projects, some of which are very improv based and some which are only very loosely connected to improv at best. But I figured that if you like our vibe, our style of humour and rich personalities, these will be ideas that we think you'll enjoy, and definitely we're going to enjoy creating for you. Long form, that's right. For the first time in many a year, Extreme Improv will be creating new, full-length improvised plays and musicals in the year 2020. And because we're Extreme Improv, you can be sure that we're going to apply a few innovative twists to the formula. Long form has been the most requested show type for us to produce, and 2020 is the year it's going to happen. Moving on, I'd like to announce that Extreme Improv will be creating huge amounts of video content in 2020, which we'll make available from our official YouTube and Facebook pages every single week. Our biggest of these new projects is a new travel documentary vlog series called Jet Lagged and Loving It. For the last 2 years, me and my girlfriend / fellow extreme improviser Rachel Jane have been vlogging our many travels around the world. Some of these have been whilst we're going to places to do improv, and within all of them they're very improvised. Episodes will include vlogs in California, Dublin, Paris, Tokyo, Krakow, Alaska, Vienna and many more places. Jetlagged and Loving It will debut on Facebook and YouTube on January 1st at 6 PM, and a new episode will debut every Wednesday at 6 PM thereafter. The next original weekly show that we're going to debut is called Nonsense and Nibbles, and it's a weekly cooking show which will begin in January 2020. You may have also noticed that this show, Extreme Improv Mission Control, is brand new for us, and we're going to have more episodes of this featuring myself and other extreme improvisers coming up whenever we want to drop a big announcement. So expect quite a lot. For those of you fearing a lack of traditional improv in these videos here, don't worry, as we have you covered. Each week we will also be releasing one or more videos of fun extreme improv short form games which we filmed at our many live shows. As time goes on, our Facebook and YouTube channels will become like a mini Netflix of improv content, so please subscribe and help us grow. Next up is Extreme Improv in Unusual Places, which is a spin-off from our travel vlog series Jetlagged and Loving It that I was talking about earlier. In these mini episodes, Rachel, Jane and I will play some quick-fire improv games all around the world with scenes inspired by the famous landmarks. Podcasts! I'd like to announce the creation of the Extreme Improv Podcast Network. If you subscribe to the Extreme Improv Podcast currently, then you're good, but you're going to actually be getting 3 shows all for the one subscription, which by the way is completely free. And we think all 3 shows will be things any fan of improv will enjoy. Let me run through what the 3 shows are for you right now. First up, we have the Extreme Improv Podcast Radio Rumble, which is our exciting short-form comedy panel show where I am joined by a cast of regular and guest extreme improvisers to play hilarious improv challenges where we try to win the Extreme Improv Podcast Championship trophy. As well as being available on iTunes, Spotify, etc., we're also filming all of the Extreme Improv Podcast Radio Rumble shows, and the full Technicolor videos of them will be available on our Facebook and YouTube channels. New episodes of the Extreme Improv Podcast Radio Rumble will be available every Monday in both audio podcast and video versions, starting Monday, January 6th at 6 PM. Next up, we have the Extreme Improv Podcast Chat Show, where I interview improvisers, comedians and actors from all over the world about improv, comedy, movies, their lives, pop culture, and anything else that comes up. The Extreme Improv Chat Show will drop new episodes every Thursday at 6 PM, starting Thursday, January 2nd. And last but not least, there will be the Extreme Improv Podcast Skills Show, which are mini episodes where I or other improvisers will talk about improv skills, formats, games, and much more to give something back to the members of the improv community who want to learn some skills and techniques. The Extreme Improv Skills Show will debut new mini episodes every Tuesday at 6 PM. And remember, as I said, you will get all 3 shows by subscribing to the Extreme Improv Podcast on any of these podcast platforms. However, if you want to subscribe to them individually, we're making that possible too. So for example, if you just want to hear some radio improv games and you don't want to hear the interviews or tutorials, we're creating a dedicated feed under the name Extreme Improv Radio Rumble. Likewise, if you just want to hear the interviews, just search Extreme Improv Chat Show, and if you just want the tutorial episodes, just search Extreme Improv Skills Show. Easy. But hang on. We have even more shows coming to the Extreme Improv Podcast Network that we're going to announce right now. Joining the Extreme Improv Podcast Network lineup will be the following new shows which, whilst not directly improv related, are all things we think a lot of our fans will enjoy. To begin with, we have the Mega Movie Podcast, where I talk about current and classic movies, actors and trivia and such like. Then we have the Games Monster Podcast, where I'll discuss both the latest and retro video games. If you're a fan of improv and you're also a gamer, be sure to check out the Games Monster Podcast. If you happen to be a fan of professional wrestling, then I would love you to check out the Superkick Mania Wrestling Podcast from Extreme Improv. The Superkick Mania Wrestling Podcast is your one-stop shop for all things wrestling, and we'll be digging into the art of pro wrestling from the perspective of an improviser. Lastly, for today, I would like to announce the Extreme Improv Book Club podcast, where each week I or another extreme improviser will sight read a classic book in an audiobook style. These will be complete with character voices, all made up on the spot, vocal sound effects, and occasional fourth wall breaking commentary. These are totally unprepared and will be unlike any other audiobook experience you're likely to find. So, they are the Mega Movie Podcast, the Games Monster Podcast, Superkick Mania Wrestling Podcast, and Extreme Improv Book Club Podcast will each have their own separate feed to subscribe to and will be available on all major podcasting platforms. So, I hope you're excited about all of our new announcements. We couldn't make any of this possible without everyone who has supported us over the years, and as such, I'd like to announce you can now support Extreme Improv on Patreon. Please do check out www.patreon.com/Extreme Improv, as we have some great exclusive content for patrons who support us, including bonus videos, exclusive photos, extra podcasts, discounts on our tickets to live shows, and exclusive merch like posters and t-shirts. That's all of our announcements for today, so please start spreading the word and let us know what you're excited about and if there's anything else you'd like to see from Extreme Improv in the future. We've some more big announcements coming up in the near future, and again, some are really going to surprise you. Our website is www.extremeimprov.co.uk, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and more. All you have to do is search Extreme Improv, and please like, share, and subscribe. That's all for this edition of the Extreme Improv Mission Control. My name is David Pustansky, and until next time, bye for now.